Sixth caution of the day. 115 laps down, but is back out and running. You're on board with him here.
The white 8 is slow ahead on the bottom.
It looked about like a replay of what the 28 did to the 42 earlier in the event.
Just in the opposite. Well, this is the one that happened earlier. You see Brennan on the inside, J.J. Yeley in the middle of the straightaway, moves to the left and just turns Brennan into the outside wall. And then we saw just a moment ago what happened. This is really what precipitated. This is that same incident there from the DC Solar onboard.
And then we felt, I mean, that looked uncalled for to us. We didn't see anything prior to that. Now, in Yeley's defense, they're going to bring Brennan Poole to the garage area, to the pit road at least, for a penalty, maybe to the garage area. But Phil, in Yeley's defense, well, there's no defending that.
Yeah,
we know exactly what that was, payback for what happened earlier.
Brennan Poole in the garage, obviously contact a couple times with you in the 28. What happened from your perspective?
Oh, I mean, he just deliberately crashed me like 5 laps into the race. There's 245 laps left. I mean, there's no sense in that. I mean, it costs us a lot of money to be out here at DC Solar's putting everything on the line to try to build a brand. I'm trying to make myself known in this sport so I can stay here, and then one of my heroes just deliberately crashed me 5 laps into the race. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, I feel like it's pretty common sense to know that we got 245 to go. Like, what are you doing, you know? So we fixed the car, I got back to him, and we just got into it, just part of racing. I hate it happened between me and JJ, but just how it goes sometimes.
Well, 10 laps of racing to go. And around goes the pack in the middle. Darrell Wallace Jr. gets caught up. The big one happens just as they go through the tri-oval. Back up into the wall hard, Brennan Poole. Eric Almirola caught up in this in the 98. The caution comes out.
Point it here, guys.
Chris Buschert, the point leader.
Back up here today.
Caught up in this incident. Blake Cook in the 8th, involved. There's Brennan Poole.
Good to see that window net coming down. He had a hard hit, head-on impact. That was a big hit.
Go farther to the left there, Derek, to miss the 6.
Look at all the damage to Ryan Reed.
We lost that position a few laps before that, moved him back in line, and then he got in that wreck.
John West Townley also involved.
1 lap to go. Logano out front.
You remember Elliott Sadler was right there trying to win at Daytona. He finds himself in that position here at Talladega as well.
Here comes Brennan Poole. He's going to have a huge run. He's to the outside of the 1 of Elliott Sadler. Is he going to get the push from the 51? Is the 1? Oh, this is going to hurt the 22. Here comes the 48.
Sadler down below the line, slides back up in front of his teammate Justin Allgaier.
He got out there. He got out there. Staying with the 1. It's okay.
The 48 has got to stay close, tight to the 22 here to have a chance.
Bounce you out. You're clear. Staying like that. Staying like that. The 1 bounce you out. Now watch him.
How did Elliott Sadler get back on the road and not lose any ground? He's going to have a chance to win this race.
If he pulls high.
Joey Logano gets turned. Elliott Sadler drives through. They're crashing big time at the line. Brennan Poole, first career win at Talladega.
How about that for Brennan Poole? And a big hit from Blake.
Huge crash. Joey Logano with damage. The same for Blake Cook. Wow.
Oh, what a finish.
The 22 just went to block the 1 a little too much, lost control. What a great win for Brennan Poole.
26 1/1000ths of a second.
That's the only one. That's so great. That's how much emotion these drivers have.
Unbelievable.
I mean, he's worked his whole life for this moment to win on the main stage of NASCAR in the Xfinity Series. What a great feeling for this kid.
We can officially call this race an upset, no doubt about it.
Awesome jump, Tyler.
Oh, man, that's just...
Did a hell of a job on the car, guys. Nice work. We're top of the pylon. They ain't said anything different.
Oh, I'm so glad to see Joey's okay. That's a big hit.
What an amazing finish. I mean, you think Elliott Sadler down the back straightaway, he gets squirrely, has to go below the line.
I thought he was
done. But that inside line prevailed. He got hooked onto the 22. He pulled out the 22, went to block, and man, chaos ensued.
You saw Blake Cook there out of his car, and that's a great scene because he had a hard hit coming across the start-finish line as well. Let's go back and see how it all unfolded coming back to the checkered flag.
There it is, just about a nose. Heck, that's a big margin of victory, right, Denny Hamlin? You won by, what 2 inches in Daytona?
It is, but look at this. I mean, just chaos coming to the start-finish line.
Watch this move Elliott Sadler makes. He does everything perfectly. He goes high, he fakes high. That's where Logano goes. He loses control of his car.
Yeah, you cannot blame that on Elliott Sadler. No doubt. He went to go high, the 22 blocked, so he changed it, and he says, all right, I'm going to go low. And it just pulled the air off the 22 right there. The 22 wrecked.
Third first-time winner we've had in the history of Talladega Superspeedway in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
What a great job by Elliott Sadler. Crashed on the back straightaway, but yet vying for the win on the front. Just gets pushed low and can't keep his momentum up to win the race.
How about Jeremy Clements for the third-place finish? Great run for that team.
And Justin Allgaier so close to victory last week at Richmond, and then again this Saturday afternoon in Alabama. Such a shame for Blake Cook. He just was in a position there was nowhere for him to go.
See Allgaier, it looked like he was just dirt tracking it, sliding up the racetrack into Poole.
Staying in the middle, staying with the one, don't let him slip to the outside. Staying with him, trail up, trail up, trail up, trail.
Lights out.
All they can do is a wreck you.
Yeah, that's such a vulnerable spot. Anytime there's push drafting going on, when you were up front, you were so vulnerable to being pushed around by the person behind you, and that's exactly what happened.
Watch Elliott. A great move to the outside. We're going to block you there. I got to go low. Elliott Sadler did everything he had to do to win this race.
Top, stay top. Come to the checkers. Come to the checkers. We'll see the review, but we should have got it right there, man. Nice work. Hell yeah. We'll get an official review. Just hang tight. Hang tight.
As did Joey Logano. He was trying to win that race. Both those guys were just racing.
NASCAR is still reviewing the finish, and they will have all of our angles at their disposal to confirm that it was the 48 at the start-finish line. Unofficially, we had the margin of victory at 26 1/1000ths of a second, so just over 2 100ths. And I think about Brennan Poole out of the Woodlands, Texas. Spent a lot of time on the short tracks out west.
Yeah.
Ran in ARCA, and when he didn't have a ride, was going to the track, working in the shop, doing anything he could do to stay around the sport. Got this opportunity last year. Brought over his sponsor, DC Solar. And it appears he's in victory lane for the first time in his career.
They won't give him the checkered flag, Adam. He sat down at the start-finish line. Say, please, can I just have it? I know I won this race. Let's see what the video shows here.
What would you anticipate they're looking at? Because I never saw the caution lights come on, and the only thing I can think of is that NASCAR would have deemed the caution lights came on before they got to the start-finish line, and Poole was not leading at the time of caution.
That's possible.
But I didn't see the lights come on. Logano's okay. He gave it his all. He gave it everything he had. He did what he had to do to win the race, and he just came up short.
The other thing, it's obvious here that Brennan Poole beats him. But the only thing I would say is are they looking at all the video of the last couple of laps to see if anybody was locking bumpers in that scenario?
Yeah, that's that.
Green-white checkered. I was referring to that green-white checkered flag signifying the end of a stage. Here's what brought out the caution.
Dane, did you see anything there that makes you think that wasn't just typical bumpers not matching up, bump drafting that went wrong?
Stagnant front by a half. Right lane solid. +1 in front.
See how it was just a little bit off center? You know, with these cars, you have to have them dead center. And it was just, he was just a little bit to the right, and you have those two crowns lined up with the front and rear bumper, and it just turned him to the right. But I mean, that's how hard it is to do this bump drafting. I mean, we watched Brad do it for what, 2 or 3 laps earlier.
And let's look and see what happened to the 48 of Brennan Poole bringing out the caution.
Just loses the right front. We watched him go down the back straightaway, Carl, and you could see that tire come apart.
Yes.
Listen.
And when Chad Norris as a crew chief. They probably ran over something.
Poole was 10th when he hit the wall.
It appears to me that it's easier to get runs from both the bottom.
Oh, around goes the 48 of Brennan Poole. He was running second. He collects the 3 of Ty Dillon. Caution comes out again.
Unbelievable that those cars don't go back up the racetrack and only 2 cars were involved. We've seen this, Jeff, time and time again. The accidents come from the front of the field.
And not too bad of damage on the 48 of Brennan Poole. The 3-car Ty, his damage is much worse.
Brennan Poole sideways collects the 3 of Ty Dillon.
The front quarter panels hurt a little more than I thought, but if he can get back without the left rear tire blowing and doing more damage.
And there goes Ryan Reed spinning to bring out the caution for the 8th time tonight. It happened right by Christopher Bell, and he's got damage.
He got into the outside wall. Look at all the damage to that, to our leader.
Oh my, we're going to have to go back and see exactly what happened.
Huge disappointment for Christopher Bell. He was doing a great job doing what he needed to do with that race car to keep it out front.
See some damage on the 48, left front tire down on Brennan Poole. 48 made contact with the 16 of Reed, and the 48 came away from the 16, caught Christopher Bell in that right rear corner.
Such a tough break for Christopher Bell. He was definitely an innocent bystander on that one. You see the 48 get just a little bit loose. Probably didn't know that the 16 was coming with that much of a run to the outside of him right there.
You know, a decent amount of damage for Ryan Reed, but a great save. And as we look at the scoreboard here, he's still on the lead lap in 7th. We know he's got a set of tires. This is on board with Brennan Poole.
Inside 20, inside 4. Watch out.
Amazing job by Ross Chastain, the 4, to avoid that.
Hey y'all, it's racing day, so loud out here I can't hear a thing. Man, the fans are going wild. And these drivers came to rock, and no place else but Fox knows how to do it now.